In this video, I'm going to tell you about step 2 of the Early Civilizations project, which is to create an artwork. Now, in step 1, you kind of had an idea of where you wanted to take your written paper, depending on the civilization, and specifically what type of artwork within that civilization do you want to talk about. So if you talked about Greek temples, for instance, the artwork that you're going to create is going to deal with Greek temples. So maybe you could sketch one out or create one from clay or Lincoln logs or wood or whatever you want to do is fine with me. A lot of you are writing on pottery, frescoes, mosaics. All of those are easily recreatable as an artwork. And so as I bring up the instructions here, you're going to create a work of art that relates to the focus of your written project. Again, if you're going to write on Greek temples, you're going to produce, in some type of art form, a Greek temple. And the work that you create is going to be original. It's going to be unique, meaning that I don't want you to reproduce a work of art that already exists. For instance, like, I've had students who have just drawn out the Woman of Wielendorf. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to create your own unique artwork that would have been something that would have been found from that civilization or that would have been used. Now here's the artwork format. And the artwork, you want to have it reasonable in terms of size. You definitely want to create something larger than a standard sheet of paper, but not something too large where it's bulky and you can't move it around very easily and you can't store it. What I normally recommend is a 15 by 20 inch illustration board. And it's okay to get a 16 inch by 20 inch because I think that's what Michael sells, but 15 by 20 is the normal size. You can buy that at a lot of the art supply stores. You can buy it at the student store on campus, at the Rancho campus, and they run between $4 and $5 normally. You can complete this project using a medium such as drawing. You can use pencil, graphite, pastels, crayons, markers, colored pencils. You can even use charcoal. But remember, some of those mediums, especially like pastels and charcoal, they smudge very easily. So you do want to be careful when you create your artwork if you're unfamiliar with some of these mediums. You can also do a painting if you wish. And I always recommend the fast drying mediums: acrylics, watercolor, and gouache. And gouache is very easy to use. It's probably what I recommend the most. It is watercolor mixed with chalk. So it's opaque, it's spreadable by water, it's real easy to use. And you can buy these in small kits if you wish. But again, if you just want to use pencils and sketch out something in black and white, I'm cool with that as well. If you decide to go with some other medium that you're more familiar with, I mean, if you're a ceramicist and you want to use clay, I'm totally cool with that. But just drop me an email and let me know that you're planning on using clay or wood or textiles, any of those types of mediums, just because I want to make sure you're familiar enough with it so that the project doesn't become overwhelming and it ends up turning out bad. There is no computer-generated artwork that I accept. Everything has to be made by hand. And in order to get credit for this assignment, what you're going to need to do is take a series of pictures. I recommend 3. If you want to do 4 or 5, that's fine too. But it just traces the development of the artwork so that I know you created it and that I can also then use those pictures for future classes as well to show students how objects are constructed for this project. And what I'll do also for you guys, I have some from last semester and I will post those in a PowerPoint in a couple of days, and you can kind of see the development of this project. Do not take 3 pictures of your already finished project and submit those. That will have you get marked down. 1 picture of your final project alone without showing the development, that will also be a grade deduction. So at least 3 pictures, beginning, middle, end. That's what I'm looking for as far as the assignment goes. Now, I also wrote down a few hints here, knowing that a lot of you, this may be your first time creating an artwork, and that's cool. I mean, I'm not an artist myself. I'm an art historian. I'm research-based in my education, but I still did take some studio classes, so I can help you through some of that. And I can tell you it's a very rewarding experience as well. It kind of helps you, relax and zone out for a little while as you work on these projects. They're kind of like a little bit of therapy, and that can be kind of nice. You throw on a DVD or, set up some Netflix and, work on the project. I do grade more on your effort that you put into this project than the finished work. Some of you are naturally gifted as artists, and that's awesome, and this is something easy for you, but I do realize the struggle for someone who hasn't ever done this, and but it is a lot of fun. Make sure to give yourself plenty of time to work on this project. It's not a 15-minute project by any means. It will take you a couple of hours to complete. First off, you want to develop an idea or a plan of what you want to create, and then you go out and you execute it. If you have an idea and you want to run it by me before you begin, that's totally cool. Drop me an email and I'll respond to you, and I'll say, yes, this is a great idea, or no, you want to think this out further, because it's either going to cost too much money for you to produce it, it's going to be too technical, or it's not going to turn out the way you want it. So it's a good idea. Drop me an email, and you don't have to, but a lot of people do, and some of you already have, and that's cool. Think about an art budget for this project. Do not go out and buy pre-stretched canvas and oil paints and like $25 brushes. This is not that type of a project. I want you to buy a $5 illustration board. I want you maybe to get some colored pencils or some gouache. The total amount should be like 20 or 30 bucks. But nothing more than that, and most likely you can get by with a lot less than that as well. If you have any questions about the project, again, email me earlier than when the project is due. I cannot tell you how many emails I get the night before a project is due. And it's like, Dave, I need an extension, or, I have a question about the project, and it has to do with something that's at the very beginning of the project. So if you email me on like July 8th, when this is due July 9th, it's not going to be good. So again, give yourself plenty of time. It makes things easier, and there is a lot less stress involved with this. And again, I will post in a couple of days, as soon as I build them, some PowerPoints of past projects, and some of the past projects have really been outstanding, and they're really not that difficult. Just thinking back to one, I had a student who we had just covered the Agamemnon death mask from the Citadel at Mycenae, and the student went out, she bought a mask, spray painted it gold, and then kind of changed the mask a little bit, added some feathers and things like that, so it was a little bit more aesthetic, a little bit more ornamental, and it was phenomenal. And it probably took her like maybe an hour to 2 hours to do, hardly any money involved, and it was amazing. I've had other students make those small cylinder seals from the Middle East, and just bought a piece of clay and turned it into a cylinder and sketched some scenes on the outside of it, and something as simple as that was a fantastic project. The point value for this is 50 points, and it is due on Sunday, July 9th at midnight. So please make sure to have it turned in by then. The earlier, the better. And again, any questions, I'm always available via email. And with that, Hope you have a great day, and you'll see me again for the third and final section of this project, which is the written paper.